Well, the orange tights, it was right after the Dynamic Dudes run, and most of my gear was those bright pinks and oranges and yellows and greens, and so I continued to wear them there. But I do remember that Rumble very well. The building was extraordinarily hot that night, and I knew that I was having to go out and put in a substantial amount of time. And, battle royals are difficult to begin with. But when you have a battle royal that you have to, a very specific position when you're going in and have a very specific idea of when you're going out, not everybody else in that ring is thinking the same thing you're thinking. They're thinking of their lone portion of that match, and they give a shit less about yours. So not only are you out there trying to shine, as we say in the business, and get yourself over in those points, but you're also trying to keep yourself from being torn up by one of these 900-pound monsters that were in the ring back then for the WWE, WWF then. But I do remember it very well, and I wasn't privy to what Roddy and Gorilla were saying about me, obviously, but to hear that they were putting me over and speaking kindly of me is pretty cool. I've never listened to the commentary. Believe it or not, I've never watched the match back, but I will now that you said that, and it completely fits. Gorilla was a guy I got along very well with, and Roddy Piper was a guy that I got along very well with. So it doesn't surprise me that they would have said that, and they also probably were privy to information that I wasn't privy to at that point, that I was somebody that the company was preparing to build. So, for all those reasons, it all goes towards speaking admirably about me in that match. But I'm going to have to go back now and listen to it and see what the hell they said.
Well, they definitely put you over. They liked you a lot. A young guy, basically saying he got all the potential in the world. I like this guy's fire. Oh, he's still in there. They kind of kept bringing you up, which is really cool and really good. And you had a nice little run. What was, if you could remember though, what was kind of the psychology of the match, or what's the thinking in the Royal Rumble? Are you just waiting for your cue, or are you trying to mix it up with different guys? What's the psychology there?
Well, like I said, your cue going in and coming out. So you've got to be, going out's the easy part because, you're on deck and they're telling you you're up, in 5 more spots and 3 more spots and 1 more spot, and so you get ready to go. And you've got to keep, as a babyface especially, you've got to go out there and exhibit some level of fire and that you're excited to be in this match. And going into that match, clearly one of the unknown guys going in there when you're in the ring with, the likes of the Road Warriors and, the Nasty Boys and, so many other of the WWF stars at that time. So you have to go out there and make an impact. You can't just go out there and sort of float around and hide in the corner someplace. Secondly, you know that you're going out in a very specific position as well. That's a lot more difficult because there's not somebody standing there in the ring saying, okay, Shane, you're next. So you've got to be paying attention to everything else that everybody else is doing, knowing specifically who you follow. And luckily for us back then, opposite of the way it's done today, is we were given the leeway. We weren't told how to do what we were doing in the ring. So if I'm supposed to leave after JP and I see JP get thrown out, that doesn't mean I say, okay, throw me out now because JP's gone. We have a specific amount of time to go. And, there's, say we're halfway through the match and 2/3 of the people have been thrown out. Well, that demands then you put some more time in because you got to fill that time up. You can't leave it down to the last 2 or 3 guys to fill up 10 or 15 minutes. So there's a lot of factors at play. And luckily, like I said, we were allowed at that point to have some level of control over that. And, everybody that was in the ring at that time, as I recall, were very much professionals and, were working on the same page. Even though they didn't know what specifically time I was supposed to go out or what number, if somebody came over and grabbed me, say like, Earthquake came over and grabbed me, could have very easily thrown me out any time he wanted to. All I had to say to him was, not yet, big man. And, we'd work into something else. They were, everybody in the ring, like I said, was very, very professional. and very supportive of helping me get through that, because everybody in the building was very well aware of how hot it was in the building. It was stifling hot and humid. And, to go that long in the ring, it took some doing. It wasn't just like going out there and, whistling Dixie. You had to really focus on all those things. And with so many aspects to keep in mind, beyond what number you're going in, that, like I said, was the easy part. Now you've got to pay attention to who are you following, how much time is gone. Do you have to get out of there immediately after the guy in front of you is gone, or do you have time to fill because the match has to fill up more time on the pay-per-view? The worst thing in the world for a pay-per-view is to end the matches well in advance of the time you've paid for. So, the WWE, like any company at that time, paid a substantial amount of money for the satellite uplink and for the airtime. The last thing you wanted to do is go home 15 or 10 minutes early, because that's 10 minutes that you lost that you could have entertained the crowd and given the people their money's worth. So there are a lot of factors at work. And like I said, luckily I had a ring full of uber professionals that were all working towards the same common good, thank God. And but I also remember that night there being a lot of humor in that match too, like when Butch came out. I think it was Butch, wasn't it, that came out and did the Bushwhackers walk all the way to the ring and walked in, got thrown out the other side and hit the floor and walked right out with the Bushwhacker walk, the arms up and down as he's going. It was great, just a touch of humor in the middle of the match, and the crowd certainly seemed to love it, and I have fond memories of it. Of having been in that match, other than the fact, like I said, that the building was just so goddamn hot. It was stifling,